Judy, good morning to you. And I understand there's an awful amount of legal jargon involved in these two pieces of legislation. I'm going to try and avoid that if we can. Just very, very simply, give me your reaction as the fund to the Criminal Law Amendment Act. And I would think, as importantly, if not more importantly, the Domestic Violence Amendment Bill. Why are these two pieces of legislation so important?
Firstly, good morning, Gareth, and good morning to the viewers. Thanks for having me. The Gender-Based Violence and Femicide Response Fund 1 that I chair is happy and appreciates the commitment that the President Cyril Ramaphosa made in the Presidential Summit November 2018, the first of its kind around GBV and femicide. We welcome this change because it is victim-centered. If you look at the National Register for Sexual Offenders, it's now going to include all sexual offenders. In the past, it only focused on sexual offenders that have actually committed crime against children and people with mental disabilities. And sexual offense is just that, sexual offense. So now that it includes all the sexual offenders, we are happy about that. In the past, there was a limit as to how long the name will appear on the register. Now that is under review, and we welcome that because we believe that sexual offense, if you've done it, committed the crime, your name should be known to the public, to all potential employers and community. And it should, in my view, only be removed once you've done something to repent and actually be the voice of not doing that. If we welcome that there's now, sorry.
No, please continue. Continue, Judy. Forgive me. Please continue.
We welcome that there's now inclusion of sexual intimidation, which is really a combination of sexual harassment and bullying. That's very important because sexual offense is not only physical, but also in emotional, and in words, you can commit sexual intimidation. So yes, we actually are encouraged, but of course there has to be alignment in terms of the policies that we amend and the people that have to make sure that our women and children are protected. But it's a step in the right direction.
It certainly is, and I'm glad I didn't actually ask you my second question because you actually took the words out of my mouth. I was going to ask about sexual intimidation and sexual harassment. It's not only when there has been a physical attack, Judy, so you beat me to the punch on that one, so I'm glad I didn't interrupt you. I would like to, in the last 2 minutes or so, the Criminal Law Amendment Act. There's been much criticism of this, and I'm sure you will agree with me on this, that it's the reporting and the conviction of GBV acts of violence, and also as we're talking about sexual harassment. Do you think the new amendment to the Criminal Law Amendment Act is going to empower those communities in that experience GBV to report this with the knowledge and the safety and the way these issues should be treated from a police side, and know that something's actually going to get done?
Yes, Gareth, I believe so. But as you know, it's the whole ecosystem. It's making them aware that they can. Just briefly, I want to add that even incest is now added, which is good. So it really involves all of us making the public aware, and those that are supposed to protect. I'm talking now about the police and the convictions, and also procedures around prosecution. The whole ecosystem has to do what's right to encourage people to come forward, because coming forward, reporting, and nothing comes out of it discourages people because they say, why should we bother? So, but having said all that, we need to acknowledge a step in the right direction. We need to acknowledge when leadership promises and they deliver on the promise, and hopefully all the other elements that will ensure that we eradicate gender-based violence and femicide in our lifetime will come into place. We are committed to that as a fund.
as you say, a step in the right direction. Two very important pieces of legislation. Judy Dlamini, thank you very much. Hopefully this one step in the right direction is going to change the lives of so many women around the country as far as GBV is concerned. The Criminal Law Amendment Act and the Domestic Violence Amendment Bill adopted by the Justice Committee over the weekend. Judy Dlamini joining us this morning here on ENC.